history of Dublin Airport can be traced back to the days of World War I, when a Royal Flying Corps aerodrome was established at Collinstown. This location's close proximity to Ireland's capital, Dublin, in an area with good all-weather, obstacle-free approaches, made it an obvious choice when the time came for deciding on the site of Dublin's airport in 1936. Construction of the new airport commenced in 1937, and the first runway was a compacted earth base with grass surfacing. The inaugural flight took place on the 19th of January 1940. By spring 1941, internal roads and drainage were completed, and the new terminal building and hangars came into service. The years that followed saw a rapid change in aircraft design, size and weight, from early piston-engined aircraft to the jet era, culminating in the introduction of the B-747 in 1971. The 50s and 60s brought a boom in air traffic, and at that time, projections were that this trend would continue. In order to meet the needs of this expansion, studies were undertaken in the early 1960s of the future planning requirements of the airport. After considerable aeronautical and technical research, a decision was taken to construct two new parallel runways oriented in an east-west direction. This combination would be required to handle the forecast traffic growth. A government announcement to this effect was made in May 1969.
The Minister for Transport and Power said that the current construction work is only part of the programme prepared by his department for the systematic development of Dublin Airport to cater for the increased traffic and larger aircraft foreseen in the years ahead. Planning of the future runway system to provide...
Traffic through Dublin Airport, however, stabilised during the 70s due to the oil crisis and general world travel recessions, and the building of new runways was deferred. The acquisition of land for the project, which had commenced in the mid-60s, nonetheless went ahead. By the late 70s, continuous technical review of existing pavement-bearing capacities at the airport indicated progressive deterioration of the subgrade underlying the existing main runway. This, coupled with the predicted short remaining useful life for the main runway, by that time nearly 40 years in service, caused a reassessment of the development needs. Following study of all the options, which included assessment of traffic forecasts, airspace management, and the development needs of the airport and the surrounding Dublin metropolitan region, a report was presented to the government recommending construction of the southern runway as the first of the two parallel runways. This report was accepted by government, whose decision to proceed was announced in December 1985. The overall runway length was fixed at 2,637 metres, and it would be operational by mid-1989. Concurrently, a new control tower and air traffic services complex would be constructed on a greenfield site to accommodate new air traffic control and communications facilities. In addition, some 15 kilometres of new or improved public roads would be constructed, together with associated infrastructural services. The design, construction and supervision of this extensive project was carried out completely in-house by Air Rienta technical consultants, led by Assistant Chief Executive Mr. Brendan Clancy. A project of this scale and nature required a great deal of time spent in intensive research planning before detailed specifications and requirements for tenders could be drawn up. Research prior to work on site included extensive studies of soil and drainage requirements. The soils on the site are fairly typical glacial soils of the North Dublin region. A water-bearing layer is also present with seasonal variation of water pressure. It was necessary, therefore, to implement a comprehensive preliminary drainage program for the site to assist in lowering the water table prior to construction. Following the design studies, a rigid pavement solution was adopted for the runway. An unreinforced concrete slab design with load transfer devices provided between bays was proposed. There were many advantages: long design life and low maintenance requirements. The ability to sustain and spread repeated heavy wheel loads without surface deformation. This was important due to the relatively weak ground conditions existing. The potential to achieve good surface friction properties while maintaining surface regularity and grade. A finished surface that would be unaffected by fuel spillage or jet blast. Satisfactory long experience of performance with existing rigid pavements at Air Rienta's 3 airports, and there was the easy availability of local materials. The design of the pavement structure was approached using 3 methods. 1. Traditional calculation methods using Westergaard's center and edge case theory. 2. ICAO and FAA design charts. 3. Rational design using boundary element, finite element techniques. Design life was up to 40 years. The design aircraft was the proposed B747-400. Arising from the studies, the following pavement design thicknesses were adopted. Granular capping layer, 200 millimeters minimum. Lean mix concrete base, 150 millimeters. Pavement quality concrete, 370 millimeters. The new runway's orientation east to west is of significant environmental benefit. Lengthy pre-planning and cooperation between Air Rienta and Dublin County Council has ensured that the areas which the planned flight paths cross have been kept relatively free of extensive development.
But he is aware of government guidelines and he knows we have to stay within the budget, so I hope...
In 1987, following public pre-qualification and full tendering, the contract for the runway construction was won by a joint venture of PJ Walls Civil Limited and Tarmac Construction Limited.
We have an official start today on the project. It's a project that many people have worked hard for many years, and many of the people who have done that are here in the room today.
As work progressed, more than 400,000 cubic meters of earth moving was undertaken in the preparation of the site. Motor scrapers were used, with trimming and preparation of the formation carried out by standard motor graders. The surface of the formation was compacted using smooth wheel rollers. The sub-base granular capping layer was delivered to site on road lorries and spread from the haul roads using D8 dozers. Compaction to the specified tolerances was carried out using vibratory rollers. The final shaping incorporated the use of standard motor graders. Commencement of the pouring sequence was ceremoniously marked on the 24th of September 1987 by the Minister for Tourism and Transport, placing a capsule containing information relating to Air Rialta and Dublin Airport in the 1980s under the pavement. One of the extremely cost-effective and successful procedures put into operation for this project was that all the concrete used for construction work was mixed on site. The runway shoulders were constructed of asphaltic concrete, providing the necessary strength and protection against erosion, and also giving a good color contrast, delineating the runway edge for pilots. Extensive overlays of asphaltic concrete were constructed where the new runway adjoined existing pavement. All elements of the construction project were subject to rigorous testing and quality control procedures. A full-scale test laboratory was set up on site, and tight monitoring routines carried out throughout the whole period of construction. Final touches, and the basic runway construction work was nearing completion by early 1989. The design requirements for runway 1028 incorporated a full system of ICAO Category 3 navigational and lighting aids. A high-intensity, all-weather, low-visibility approach lighting system was provided at each end, together with inset centerline and touchdown zone lights. Approximately 700 runway and 300 taxiway inset lights were installed. Power cables and drainage were provided from under the fittings through a ducting system laid in the lean mix concrete. All of the lighting systems were connected through ducts to new switch rooms at each end of the runway, each equipped with new standby power supplies. Lighting control wiring was brought back to the sophisticated lighting control panel and mimic board installed in the new control tower. It was, of course, inevitable that the scale of the project had been the cause of some disruption to those residents in the immediate vicinity of the airport. Nevertheless, during the 2.5-year construction period, local road traffic was not diverted. The existing road was kept open for public traffic by placing a temporary road surface across the pavement of the new runway, and this was not finally removed until a few weeks before the runway was put into service. On the 21st of June 1989, the inaugural flight from Dublin's new runway 1028 formally opened the runway for service. It was an auspicious occasion, honoured by the presence of Taoiseach Mr. Charles J. Haughey TD, who performed the official ceremony.
Today is an occasion of great significance for Arienta, for Dublin Airport, for the tourist industry, and for the general economy of our country. The inauguration of this magnificent new runway involved, as the chairman has pointed out, many long years of detailed study.
Runway 1028 and its associated developments were now ready for service, completed on target and within budget. Designed and managed in-house by Arienta technical consultants, the project has ensured that Dublin's airport is now provided with the advanced airside systems and infrastructure capable of handling a rapidly growing volume of air traffic. Runway 1028, Dublin's investment for the future.